Hi, I'm old Sneelock. Working on the linkages again. Now with the lathe unplugged, I can set this up and be ready to work. I need to cut off a couple of pieces of stub shaft here and turn them into step shafts for the crank bearings. So that's what I'm going to be doing this morning. First thing I want to do is center drill them so I can put a center in there. That supports the end of the shaft so that I can make a better cut. Before I start, I want to go through and oil the machine. Put a drop of oil on my drill bit. I'm only going to be drilling a very small hole in the end of it, just enough to give the center a place to have a purchase. I don't want to go very deep in there because my shaft that I'm making is very small. It's going to have a 3/8 shaft on one end and about a 5/16 shaft on the other. Going by my notes, my stub shaft is going to be 0.6. Then I'm going to have an 1/8 of an inch flange on top of that, and that takes it out to 7/25. Then I have a stub shaft that's 5/8. So 7/25 and 6/25 is what? 13/50. So 1.35.
In this part, I'm turning the shaft down to 3/8 of an inch in diameter. That's going to be the thread that goes into the crank. I'm going to tap the crank itself and be able to put that 3/8 16 thread in there. That has to be 0.6 inches long. With the stub shaft turned down, I'm able to go in and thread the 3/8 16 section of the stub shaft with the die. I put the die in the die handle and then just crank it around. After I've got that done, I can cut off the stub shaft, flip it around in the chuck, and thread the 5/16 diameter. Then you can see that I fit on the bearing and make sure that everything's going to lock up the way it should be. With the stub shafts turned and threaded, I now need to tap the crank for a 3/8 16 thread. That's where the stub shaft's going to be fitted onto the crank. The crank is made of cast iron, and it's an odd shape. So rather than put it into the lathe to start the thread, I'm just going to tap it by hand. A little bit of oil on the tap, and it cuts right through. Shot a brake cleaner into the threads to clean out all the grit, and the stub shaft is ready to be put in. A lot of work to get it to do that little bit of spinning right there. It does seem to turn quite well, and it allows for a little bit of misalignment too. That was the thing I was concerned about, was if there was any misalignment in the bearing, if it was going to drag a lot. But it lets me, there's some spring in the shaft and a little bit of give in the bearing. So I think I got a pretty good shot at making something work here. Now I need to make a piece for the end of this. I want to have it go into that treadle down there, and I want to put a ball end on it so that it can run at an angle, because it has to run at an angle. That's just not going to ever line up perfect. If
If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.